Hello everybody, welcome to Ask JP. Today's questioner is Ravi Verma from Tamil Nadu. He works as an engineer in a public sector undertaking. Ravi, please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Myself, Ravi Verma from Tamil Nadu. I'm working in a public sector company. My question is related to India's agriculture sector and its challenges. As we all know, the share of agriculture in GDP is falling, but the employment share in agriculture is not falling proportionately. This shows the very poor agriculture labor productivity. And one of the main reason is small and fragmented land holding. That is, in India, average per capita land holding is less than 1 hectare, which makes unviable for a farmer to adopt any modern technology or mechanization. In the past, government has come up with many reforms, starting from land consolidation to cooperative farming, but none of these reforms made any impact on overall agriculture productivity. In the present day, cooperative farming also faces many challenges, like a difference in opinion among the farmers, fear of losing independence in farming activity, land sentiments, which makes difficult to pull the land together for a cooperative farming. So what is the way forward, and how the agriculture sector can be made as lucrative as other sector? Thank you.
Thank you, Ravi. Ravi's broad point is valid. The share of India's agriculture in GDP is falling, while the number of people dependent on agriculture entirely is not declining that rapidly. So the per capita income of those in agriculture relative to the rest of the population is continuing to fall. It's now probably at 1/4 or 1/5 of the per capita income of the rest of the people. And obviously there is enormous amount of rural distress and poverty. While we have to ensure that the other sectors of the economy, the industry and the services, they productively employ many, many more people. But that's what happens with modernization all over the world. And urbanization is inevitable. We also have to see that the productivity of agriculture and the incomes in agriculture go up. But is collective farming a solution? First, let us see the facts. It is true in terms of management, if you have an aggregation or land pooling or consolidation, then it probably becomes more efficient. You have more capital, you can deploy technology better, you can access markets better, you can probably get also credit better, agriculture credit becomes a little easier, you can be more scientific in farming practices. But to think that you can somehow make the farmers agree to come together and collectivize the farming is somewhat unrealistic and perhaps not even necessary. Because the truth is, in our country, the productivity of small farms actually is higher on per acre basis than that of big farms. Because small farms mean the farmer and his family or her family, they intensively work on agriculture without even counting their own labor input. They take care of it day and night. Therefore, on an average, if all else is equal, namely technology, credit, and other aspects, other inputs, then actually small farms are producing more per acre. Therefore, the problem is not so much the size of the holding. The challenge is, A, how do you ensure that the small farmers, irrespective of size, get access to technology and inputs, particularly technology and management practices. Farmers in our country already are doing that. The government's extension machinery is very weak and inept, like in many other areas of government. But the farmers are embracing new technology and new methods of management, learning from others or learning from private sector. Therefore, I don't think aggregation is necessary at the production stage in order to enhance productivity. What is important is government generates technology, like for instance, genetically modified seeds. Government did not act in time and therefore private sector had to come in. And obviously private sector needs profit in order to survive. And if the government even now wakes up and generates new technology and knowledge and transfers that knowledge efficiently to the people, to the farmers, that will help. Similarly, other inputs. and encouraging micro irrigation and better management practices. That is enough. You don't necessarily require collectivization. But what is required is post production, you require many activities: grading, packaging, storage, transport, processing. Without value addition and processing, the farmer will not get the full value and the society will not get full value. In India, only about 3% of the agricultural produce is actually processed, one of the lowest in the world. And of course, retailing. So what is required is you must compress the market chains. Supposing you allow the big retail chains which take care of all these functions efficiently, with low margins but high volumes, with an incentive to be able to penetrate global markets, to add value and generate employment, then the farmer benefits. Productivity goes up and post-production value goes up, wastage comes down. With processing, you also generate industrial activity and employment in the areas close to rural areas. And finally, you can penetrate the global markets. It's likely that we have $100 billion opportunity in agricultural exports alone, in addition to what we're exporting right now, if only we leverage our strengths and have the right kind of policies. That is the way forward rather than aggregation of land, because by force you cannot do it. Cooperatives generally don't have credibility. Farmers will not be willing. And Ravi quite rightly pointed out the reasons why farmers would not agree. The sense of ownership is lost. The incentive of private ownership is not there. And wherever collective farming was tried, like in Russia, it was a collapse. It didn't help. Chinese reform actually started with farmers getting ownership rights in the land, and therefore the incentive to produce more, to sell better, and to make a profit. We cannot reverse the clock. But we have the benefits of collectivization in the post-production areas. Take, for instance, contract farming. Supposing we actually create a legal framework, and already it exists in some form or the other, notwithstanding the failure of the farm laws for political reasons. And supposing the farmer actually enters into a contract with the company with an assured price in advance, there is price stability, greater assurance, the consumer also will benefit, and now the person who is purchasing the farm produce and processing it and marketing it has an incentive to enhance productivity and quality, therefore provide the inputs. And generally it will be in a contiguous block of area, in an area, even if it's not, each field is not next door to the other, but in the same vicinity, there are a large number of small farms, and therefore they can easily adapt these best practices from each other. And you have all the benefits of collectivization after production. The transport, storage, grading, packaging, guaranteeing the quality of the product, and of course value addition by the contract farmer or the person to whom they, or the company to whom they supply. The third way is, can we look at land ceiling laws in a specific context? You take, for instance, the plantations, coffee, tea, other plantations. They're not governed by land ceiling laws, but they pay income tax, agricultural income tax. Now in India, agricultural income tax is not levied on agriculture. The states are resisting. Supposing we start on a small sample basis or a pilot basis, that you can aggregate land, ceiling laws do not apply, but there must be proper agricultural accounts and you must pay income tax. That's worth considering. Then you have advantages of more investment going. Some people are attracted to farming because of their own background or passion. They may like to bring in technology, modern practices, innovation. They risk a lot. Sometimes they may lose, sometimes they may gain. But a lot of investment will flow into rural areas. And a lot of innovation will take place. And the benefits of aggregation, benefits of collectivization will come. Even without doing all that, cooperative dairies are a good model. What is the genius of Amul or NDDB or the dairy cooperatives successful in many parts of the country? While production is decentralized, a farmer typically in India has only 1 or 2 buffaloes. But post-production aggregation is possible, milk chilling center, the dairy, and so on and so forth. The benefits of credit, that is capital, technology, management, quality management, well-trained, highly competent, well-paid management, and access to markets. All these 4 are available collectively to the dairy farmers. Even if individual farmer doesn't get everything at his level, but individual farmer is getting some very important things. The inputs, because typically cooperative dairies, they provide the inputs, the cattle feed, then the health of the cattle, the veterinary services, sometimes even insurance for the members of the family and so on and so forth. So you get the benefits of both without centralizing production. We can easily do that too. So the benefits of scale can be derived even without forcing farmers to part with their lands and to go for collective farming, because politically and socially, probably the government cannot go for collectivization. It may not even be desirable. But as we have seen in many cases, we can get the benefits of collectivization and scale without giving up the ownership of the small farmer.